heavy cast iron pot right here. We're gonna turn, I like to cook with gas. To me, gas is the best. As soon as I get this lit here. There we go. About medium heat. Put that big heavy cast iron pot on there. And let that heat up a little bit. Even out that flame there. Okay. Just don't rush it. Give it a few minutes to heat up. And then we're going to add a little bit of olive oil, like maybe 1001, 1002, 2 count. Let that get hot. And that's going to take a few minutes. Earlier I made some rice that's going to go with this shrimp creole. I made some saffron rice, and so this is the saffron rice. It's already done steaming, as you can tell. Really super simple and easy to make rice. A lot of people are afraid of making rice. They burn it, but basically the basic recipe for rice is if you have like a half a cup of rice, you're going to need a cup of liquid. If you go with a cup of rice, which is more like for family, more servings, you'll have 2 cups of liquid, whether that's water or stock or whatever you like to use. I like to use stock in this particular rice. It's a yellow rice. So basically what I did was I sauteed a little red pepper and a little bit of green pepper and a small amount of onion. Then I added a half a cup of rice and sauteed that in a little olive oil. After the vegetables are kind of like translucent and aromatic, you can smell them. Then I added 1 cup of chicken stock, and I brought that up to a boil. And once it boils, then you turn it down to the lowest setting and cover. Actually, wait a minute. I did put like maybe a teaspoon of saffron in there just to give it that yellow pretty color and add a little depth of flavor along with the vegetables and the chicken stock. And then you cover it, turn it on the lowest setting, set your timer for like 15 minutes, and you'll have perfect rice every time. Meanwhile, over here, I think this is warm enough now. So I have just a heavy cast iron pan. I like cast iron. I cook in cast iron a lot. I love it. It's fantastic. It's heavy. It's a little awkward, but it really does a nice job. So over here, I just have like a 2 count of olive oil. I'm just going to, here I have, it's basically, it's a southern style mirepoix. And mirepoix is basically carrot, celery, and onion, but when we're talking the South, it's going to be onions, green bell pepper, and celery. And of course, I'll do a little garlic too. Well, first we'll start with this. This should be hot enough. Yep. And when you hear it singing like that, you hear that little sizzle, you know it's hot enough. Go ahead and put that in there. I've got this at like medium flame, on a gas flame. I don't really like electric. I cook with gas. Gas to me is the ultimate high as far as culinary cooking. And I just want to toss that around, keep it from burning. We want this to be soft, aromatic. So just give it a few minutes. Perfect. Also in this, because I'm using just like a regular tomato sauce, you can make your own, you can buy a can, jar, whatever. It's about a cup full. And generally too, I'd use about 2.5 pounds of shrimp. Today I just have a pound. I found some really good shrimp, but it was kind of pricey, so I'm just going to go with a pound of it. I think it's still going to be fine. We'll see what it looks like. I may have to adjust a little bit, but this is my mirepoix is probably like a half a cup of onion, maybe like a third a cup of green pepper, and maybe a quarter cup of celery. And that's just, I chopped it all up earlier. I like to chop everything up ahead and kind of have it ready to go. It makes the cooking go a lot faster. So yeah, this is just cooking down a little bit. It smells really good. Oh, it smells delicious. Let that cook a little bit. And then earlier I also diced up a little bit of garlic here. I think that was like 2 cloves. If they're small, you probably get away with 1. If you have a large one, we're going to add that. We're just going to give this a couple more minutes. And you have to be careful when you add the garlic, because the garlic cooks very quickly and you don't want to burn it. If you burn it, it's going to turn the flavor off a little bit, and we don't want any turn offs. So just going to put this in, just like so. A little bit more here. Add that right to the pot. The thing about this shrimp creole is it's really cool. It's really easy. It's just a one-pot kind of a thing. Throw it all in one pot, except for the rice, of course. You cook that a little separate. But you can always do it up ahead. Keep it covered, and it'll hold its temp until the rest of the stuff's ready. So, okay, I added the garlic in there. Oh, and if you could only smell it, it smells fantastic. And then what I'm also going to add to this is a roux, R-O-U-X. That's a French thickening agent. And basically most home chefs will have this, and professional chefs will have it in the kitchen. You just kind of make it up and you use it. It will thicken up the tomato sauce, but it adds so much depth. Basically, here, I'll show you. Here's mine. This is a really, really nice one. It's just butter, clarified butter, which is butter that you melt down and you take out the milk solids, and it's kind of like a clear golden color. And what you do is you add flour to it, and so you cook the flour and the butter together. And I got this really, I don't know if you can see how deep brown, it almost looks like chocolate, but this is just butter and flour. And this is, I mean, you can use cornstarch or arrowroot or just flour and milk. A lot of people use to thicken, but to me, this is the ultimate way to do it. It adds such a layering of flavor. It's just, I can't even describe it. It's worth doing. If you just wanted it to thicken up like a soup or something, you would take a tablespoon of butter and 2 tablespoons of flour in a little cast iron skillet, and you just cook it until you get a really, if you can see that color, nice, rich, chocolatey looking color. So I'm going to add some of this also to the pot, because this is going to be fantastic. And I'm kind of winging it. Let's just say maybe 2 tablespoons. Add that with your vegetables and your garlic and all that. And here, I just gotta grab my spoon, because I want some of that flour in there too. And it's just, fantastic. This is gonna be really good. You'll just add some of that in. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. Got quite a bit in there. Probably 2 tablespoons maybe. And can you see it foaming up? It's getting foamy. So I'm gonna turn my flame down just a little, because I don't want to burn it. I mean, I worked on that roux. I made it last week, and I'll probably, I'll cook with it for a couple weeks, and then I'll have to make some more. But it's a great way to thicken stuff. And can you see how the vegetables are all grabbing together? It's perfect, just perfect. Okay, so then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add, I've got about a cup of tomato sauce, just regular tomato sauce. There's no seasoning in there, just regular tomato. I'm going to add that to that. And we're layering up the flavors here. This is all we're doing to make this super, super good. Can you see that? It's looking really good. I'm also going to add some chicken stock, probably a half a cup of chicken stock to this. Not quite yet though. And turn this down low. we're gonna do a little bit of seasoning. We're gonna layer some seasoning. I have some hot sauce, and I use just this Frank's Red Hot. Some people like the Louisiana style, and I usually give like 3 shakes or whatever. So 1, 2, 3, just add that in. I like a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. It's really good. I use Lee & Perrins. You can use whatever you like. I use this particular brand. I really like that flavor. And maybe just 2 quick sploosh. It might be like 2 tablespoons full. I mean, stir it around. That's what I'm going to do. And then just, you know, take a spoon and check the taste. That's what I do. I just take a spoon and taste it. And I'm thinking, yeah, I want a little bit more of that Worcestershire, so I'm going to give another. Add a little more. And then ground cayenne pepper. Add that. And I'm going to say probably a teaspoon. Be careful with this. Cayenne pepper is really, really hot. And this is shrimp creole. You do want it hot, but just be careful with it. Okay? And I'm just going to turn this. I'm going to add maybe a 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup of chicken stock. That's going to add another layer. And then I'm just going to let it simmer for 20-25 minutes, and then we'll come back.